ACAS has released new guidance for employers who are thinking of suspending an employee. But what does it mean? Hello, I'm Dominic Walker. Welcome to JMW's Inside Man YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and keep the conversation going in the comments section as well. So Alexandria Barnes is a solicitor within JMW's employment law department. So Alexandria, about these new guidelines, should employers automatically suspend employees who are under investigation?
I wouldn't say they would in every case. The suspension should only be in circumstances where it is appropriate to suspend them. So if you're dealing with a disciplinary investigation, it would only be in cases where it's a serious situation and there is no alternatives to suspension. So you would need to show that the suspension is reasonable, generally due to a threat to the business, other employees or the customers. But it would be a case of considering each situation individually. Before making that decision, you need to ensure that it is necessary to suspend. So it wouldn't be an automatic suspension in every case.
And so there are alternatives to suspension then, and should things like mental health be considered?
Yeah, there's definitely alternatives to suspensions. You could always look at changing the shifts of that employee. If it's a case of they're a risk to other people, but you still need them to do the work, could they work from home? Could you stop them doing a particular part of the job that they do? So there's always different options to consider, and it's whether or not it is possible for an alternative rather than the suspension. In terms of the mental health, of course, you always need to consider every employer has a duty of care towards their employees and to support them and look out for their mental well-being. So in that situation, of course, suspension is going to be very stressful for everybody involved, the well-being of that employee. They're going to be very stressed, upset about the situation. So you would need to ensure that you've communicated everything with them, make sure they're aware of the process, make sure that employee is aware that the suspension doesn't mean that they're automatically guilty of the disciplinary action. It's more, we need to investigate it, but we can't keep you in the business, and keep in regular contact with them and let them know that who the point of contact is. So if they do have any issues regarding their mental health, they have someone to speak to and they can discuss that and see if there's any support that can be provided.
And how can you and the employment law team here at JMW Solicitors help employers navigate these new rules?
So we have, of course, a team of solicitors in the employment team. We can help the employers, advise them on the suspension, whether or not it does amount to a reasonable suspension, considering all the circumstances, and also advise on the entire disciplinary process, the steps that need to be taken, and the communication with the employee to provide them with that support for their mental well-being. The other element to consider for any potential client is we can also support employees with any advice as well, and support them through a disciplinary process if it is something that they are concerned about. So we can support both sides in that instance, and provide it from the start to the end of any potential action which is going on.
Thank you for your insight, Alexandria. And if you'd like to contact Alexandria, you can email insideman@jmw.co.uk or call 0161 82 81 999. Please also subscribe to the JMW Inside Man YouTube channel for the latest legal news, hints and tips. I'm Dominic Walker, JMW's Inside Man.